When the stage lights dimmed, Lady Day had fallen apart. On that cold winter night in 1954, Billie Holiday couldn't hold back her tears in her dressing room. Her hands were shaking, her voice was gone. That's when Frank Sinatra walked in. Seeing Holiday sitting on the floor, Sinatra was shocked. He immediately knelt down beside her and placed his hand on her shoulder. "Billie, what's wrong?" he whispered. The bond formed between them that night would change Holiday's life forever. The promise Sinatra made is still talked about today. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to hear this extraordinary friendship story to the end and learn all the details of the secret bond between these two legends, because the story that began that night shows not only music history, but how two wounded souls healed each other. In December of 1954, an incident at one of New York's most prestigious clubs, the Flamingo Club, remained secret for years. That night, Billie Holiday was going through the most difficult period of her career. FBI harassment had intensified, drug addiction had taken hold of her, and her cabaret license had been revoked. Worse still, the man she loved, Louis McKay, had betrayed her. When Holiday took the stage that night, her voice was trembling, she was missing notes. The audience noticed, but nobody said anything. The queen of the jazz world was melting away before their eyes. Frank Sinatra wasn't supposed to be at the Flamingo Club that night. What brought him there wasn't coincidence, but a friend's concern. Bing Crosby had called Sinatra, telling him about Billie's condition. "Frank, she needs help. You're one of the few people who could talk to her," Crosby had said. Without hesitation, Sinatra came to the club and watched Holiday's performance. Seeing her condition on stage, Sinatra's heart ached. That powerful voice was now just a whisper. That mesmerizing stage presence was merely a shadow. When the performance ended, Holiday left the stage, but nobody applauded. The silence was too heavy. Sinatra immediately rushed backstage. He needed to find Billie Holiday. Walking down the corridor, he heard sobbing sounds coming from a dressing room. When he gently pushed the door open, the scene he witnessed deeply shook him. Holiday had collapsed on the floor, holding an empty bottle of alcohol, tears in her eyes. Her famous white gardenia had fallen apart. Her dress was wrinkled. The moment wasn't just about two entertainers meeting by chance. The circumstances that led them both to that club, that night, at that exact moment, seemed almost orchestrated by fate itself. Sinatra had been having his own struggles during this period. His tempestuous relationship with Ava Gardner had recently ended, and his career was experiencing a downturn. But seeing Holiday's condition made his own problems seem insignificant. When Sinatra knelt beside Holiday that night, it wasn't just two musicians meeting. This was the convergence of two souls worn down by life's mercilessness. They both knew what it meant to bare your soul night after night, to give everything you had to audiences who might love you one day and forget you the next. "Billie, what's wrong?" he asked, and Holiday couldn't even lift her head. Sinatra gently placed his hand on her shoulder and waited. They sat in silence for minutes. When Holiday finally began to speak, her voice came out broken. "Frank, I'm finished. I have nothing left. The FBI destroyed me, my man left me, my voice is going. I'm not Billie Holiday anymore, I'm just Eleanora Fagan, and she's nothing." These words pierced Sinatra's heart. Holiday's use of her real name showed just how far she had fallen. Sinatra made a very important decision at that moment. He wouldn't just be a visitor for that night. He would support Holiday for the rest of her life. But this support would remain secret, because he didn't want to hurt Holiday's pride. The conversation between them that night lasted for hours. Holiday talked about the abuse in her childhood, the trauma she experienced from her mother's abandonment, the racism in the music industry. Sinatra listened, occasionally placing his hand over Holiday's. He never judged, never gave advice. He was just there. That's exactly what Holiday needed most that night, to be heard without being judged. During those hours, Holiday opened up about experiences she had never shared with anyone. She spoke about the nights when the pain became so overwhelming that she considered ending it all. She talked about the constant fear of never being good enough, of being just another black woman in an industry that barely tolerated her presence. Sinatra absorbed every word, understanding that this wasn't just about her current crisis but about a lifetime of accumulated wounds. As the night progressed, Holiday gradually composed herself. Sinatra had brought her tea, helped her wash her face. Just as he was about to leave, Holiday asked, "Frank, why are you here? Why are you helping me?" Sinatra's answer was deeply sincere. "Because you are the soul of music, Billie. And if the soul dies, our music dies too." At that moment, Sinatra made her a promise. This promise would remain secret for years until Sinatra's private documents were revealed in 19... Sinatra had told Holiday, "Billie, I will always have your back. When you need help, no matter what, reach out to me. Nobody needs to know. This is between us. You are never alone." This wasn't an empty consolation. Sinatra meant it seriously. He began secretly providing financial assistance to Holiday. He arranged for her to see private doctors. He even used his connections in Washington to reduce the FBI's pressure on Holiday. But he did all this secretly, for Holiday's pride and dignity. The promise Sinatra made that night went beyond typical friendship or professional courtesy. It was a sacred vow, the kind that transcends ordinary human relationships. Sinatra understood that Holiday needed more than temporary help. She needed to know that someone in this world would never abandon her, no matter how dark things became. 2 weeks later, when Holiday returned to the stage, she was different. She hadn't fully recovered yet, but there was hope in her voice. The audience felt the difference. Holiday had found new strength in her performances. The source of this strength was knowing she was no longer alone. Sinatra's help to Holiday wasn't limited to personal support. He built a special support network for Holiday. This network was very secret and consisted of only a few trusted people. Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., and Count Basie were members of this network. Each one helped Holiday in different ways. Dean Martin would come as a special guest to Holiday's concerts and boost her morale. Sammy Davis Jr. covered the expenses of professionals who did Holiday's stage costumes and makeup. Count Basie provided orchestra support to Holiday. But all this help was done secretly. Holiday didn't even know about most of these arrangements. The most important function of this support network was to monitor Holiday's health condition. Sinatra ensured that Holiday had regular health checkups. Private doctors examined Holiday for free. Sinatra covered these doctors' fees, but it was explained to Holiday as a government program. This way, Holiday's pride wouldn't be hurt. The network operated with military precision and absolute discretion. Each member had specific responsibilities and understood the importance of maintaining secrecy. They developed code words and elaborate systems to ensure that help reached Holiday without her knowledge. When Holiday needed medical care, she would receive a call informing her that she had won a health screening from a radio station contest she didn't remember entering. As years passed, this support system became even stronger. Sinatra paid Holiday's apartment rent, but Holiday thought it came from a charitable fan. Money was given to a courier for grocery shopping, and Holiday was told it was help from neighbors. This way, Holiday didn't struggle in daily life, but felt like she was standing on her own feet. In 1956, Holiday's health condition became critical. Cirrhosis was diagnosed, and doctors issued very serious warnings. This news deeply shook Sinatra. That night he visited Holiday in the hospital and had a long conversation with her. Holiday confessed that she was afraid of dying. Sinatra told her, "Billie, you are immortal. You will live forever through your music. But now you must fight." During this period, Sinatra never left Holiday's side. He increased hospital visits, found the best doctors, and researched experimental treatments. He was there when Holiday needed moral support. Sometimes they would just sit and listen to music. Sometimes they would share old memories. The crisis also revealed the extent of Sinatra's influence and connections. He quietly reached out to specialists across the country, consulting with liver disease experts and addiction specialists. He arranged for Holiday to receive treatments that weren't widely available. sometimes paying for experimental procedures out of his own pocket. During Holiday's struggle with this crisis, the bond between them grew even stronger. Holiday now saw Sinatra not just as a friend, but as a family member. Sinatra had also adopted a protective attitude toward Holiday. He defended her against anyone who could harm Holiday. In 1957, the friendship between Holiday and Sinatra went through a major test. Holiday had started using drugs again, and this situation had leaked to the media. People around Sinatra advised him to stay away from Holiday. "This relationship is hurting your career, Frank," they said. But Sinatra was determined. He would keep the promise he made to Holiday. He would be by her side during Holiday's most difficult moment. Sinatra spoke very clearly on this matter. "Billie is my friend. I'm not the kind of man who abandons his friends in difficult times." This attitude showed Sinatra's character. During Holiday's drug crisis, Sinatra both supported her and was stern with her. "Billie, you're killing yourself. This can't continue like this," he warned. Holiday initially showed resistance, but Sinatra didn't give up. He offered her treatment again and said he would cover all expenses. During this crisis, Holiday was very honest with Sinatra. "Frank, why don't you ever give up on me? I'm just causing you trouble," she said. Sinatra's answer was very emotional. "Because you're my sister, Billie. You never abandon your sister." This crisis tested not only their friendship, but also Sinatra's principles and priorities. The entertainment industry in the 1950s was less forgiving than it is today, and association with someone struggling with addiction could have serious career consequences. But Sinatra's response revealed something fundamental about his character. When it came to genuine friendship, he was uncompromising in his loyalty. In Holiday's final years, Sinatra's support became even more critical. Holiday's health condition was constantly deteriorating, but her passion for music never diminished. Sinatra did everything he could to support this passion. During the recording of Holiday's final album, Lady in Satin, Sinatra was present in the studio. He provided moral support to Holiday and helped with technical matters. During the recording of this album, Holiday's voice had weakened considerably, but her emotional depth had increased. Sinatra evaluated this situation as follows: "Billie's voice is no longer as powerful as it used to be, but her soul has never been this strong." Indeed, Lady in Satin became one of Holiday's most touching works. During Holiday's final concerts, Sinatra tried to be present whenever possible. Holiday's performances at these concerts were short but impressive. After each concert, Sinatra would congratulate Holiday and tell her how proud he was of her. Holiday was very affected by these words because Sinatra's approval was very valuable to her. The final period of their friendship was marked by a bittersweet acceptance of mortality and legacy. Both artists understood that Holiday's time was limited, and this knowledge gave their interactions a poignancy that was almost unbearable. Sinatra began to see himself not just as Holiday's friend and supporter, but as the guardian of her artistic legacy. In July of 1959, Holiday's health condition became critical. When she was hospitalized, Sinatra was immediately informed and rushed over. When he saw Holiday in bed, he was very sad. Holiday had lost a lot of weight, her speech had become difficult, but the light in her eyes was still there. Sinatra sat by Holiday's side for hours. He told her about old times, reminded her of songs they had listened to together. Holiday smiled occasionally and squeezed Sinatra's hand. These moments were very valuable for both of them because they hadn't had such comfortable moments together for a long time. Before Holiday died, she spoke with Sinatra one last time. She told him how grateful she was to him. "Frank, you never left me alone. If it weren't for you, I would have collapsed long ago," she said. Sinatra also told her how special she was, how much she had contributed to music. "Billie, you will live forever. You will always be among us through your music," he said. The final conversation between them took place on a quiet afternoon, when the hospital was unusually peaceful. Holiday's voice was weak, but her mind was clear. She looked at Sinatra with eyes that held no fear, only gratitude and a kind of serene acceptance. Sinatra listened, holding her hand, understanding that these weren't just memories she was sharing but gifts she was giving him. When Holiday passed away on July 17, 1959, Sinatra experienced tremendous grief. He took care of organizing the funeral and covered all expenses. He provided financial support to Holiday's family and personally chose the words to be written on Holiday's tombstone. After Holiday's death, Sinatra worked hard to keep her memory alive. He performed Holiday's songs in his own concerts. He supported documentary filmmakers about Holiday. He made efforts to preserve Holiday's musical legacy. Sinatra never revealed the details of the friendship between him and Holiday. This friendship remained secret until 1999. In 1999, after Sinatra's death, an important discovery was made when his family was cleaning out his personal belongings. In Sinatra's private safe, letters from Holiday and draft letters Sinatra had written to Holiday were found. These letters revealed the true dimension of the friendship between the two legends. In the letters Holiday wrote to Sinatra, her gratitude toward him was clearly visible. "Dear Frank, you are my angel. Without you, I would have died long ago. I continue to live with the support you give me," she wrote. In the draft letters Sinatra wrote to Holiday, his love and protectiveness toward Holiday could be seen. "Dear Billie, you are not just a great musician. You are also a strong woman. Your struggle against difficulties inspires me," he wrote. The discovery of these letters caused a great stir in the music world. Nobody knew that the friendship between the two legends was so deep. The letters revealed intimate details that surprised even those who thought they knew the scope of their friendship. Perhaps most moving were the letters never sent, drafts where Sinatra struggled to find words adequate to express his concern during Holiday's darkest periods. Sinatra's promise to Holiday wasn't limited to just that period. This promise became a legacy that will live forever in music history. The friendship between the two legends shows the power of music to touch the human soul. The friendship between Sinatra and Holiday is accepted as one of the most beautiful examples in music history. This friendship wasn't just a personal relationship, it was also proof of music's unifying power. The respect and support that two artists making music in different styles had for each other was admirable. Their friendship also transcended the racial barriers that were still very much in place during their era. While America was still largely segregated and interracial friendships were often viewed with suspicion, Sinatra and Holiday's bond was based on mutual respect, shared artistic values, and genuine affection. Holiday's music is still listened to and loved today. Thanks to the support Sinatra gave her, Holiday was able to continue making music in her final years. The album Lady in Satin became one of Holiday's most valuable legacies. Sinatra also learned a lot from Holiday. The emotional depth in Holiday's music influenced Sinatra's own music. Sinatra's promise to Holiday, "You are never alone," became proof of music's power and was recorded in history. These words seem to be spoken not only for Holiday but for music's universal language. This promise shows music's power to unite people and eliminate loneliness. Even today, when we listen to Holiday's songs, we feel the support Sinatra gave her. Because music is immortal, and true friendship is too. The friendship between Holiday and Sinatra will live forever, combined with the magic of music. Their friendship didn't end with Holiday's death. It transformed into a lasting testament to the power of human connection and the enduring nature of love expressed through music.